In this lecture, we're going to build the receptor occupancy model, the first successful attempt to explain drug effects using chemistry, mathematics, and biology together. It's the simplest quantitative model of drug-receptor interaction. Receptor occupancy theory is elegant, historically important, and it explains why drug effects saturate. Originally, drug action was understood in very simple terms. Giving more drug was expected to produce more effect, and the relationship was assumed to be essentially linear. However, careful dose-response experiments showed that this was not the case. At higher doses, the response reached a maximum and stopped increasing. This observation forced a change in thinking. If increasing the dose no longer increased the effect, then something in the system had to be finite and saturable. The key scientists involved in developing this new way of thinking about drug action were John Newport Langley, Paul Ehrlich, and Alfred Joseph Clark, working in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The key conceptual shift was that the limitation was not the drug, it was the target, the drug receptor. To demonstrate this, we have a cell containing a finite number of receptors. When an agonist drug is added at a low dose or concentration, only some of the drug molecules are bound to receptors at any one time, and many receptors remain free. As more agonist is added, a higher proportion of receptors become bound, until eventually at equilibrium, all available receptors are occupied by drug molecules. Increasing the agonist concentration further would produce no additional effect because there are no receptors left to be bound and activated. So, if a drug acts by binding to receptors and receptors are finite, then the response must eventually saturate. At the heart of receptor occupancy theory is the idea that when a drug molecule binds to a receptor, it triggers a biological change within the cell. As more receptors become occupied, the magnitude of the cellular or tissue response increases. In this model, the response is directly proportional to the fraction of receptors occupied by the drug. To describe this interaction mathematically, we define free drug as D, free receptors as R, and the drug-receptor complex as DR. Binding is reversible. Drug molecules continuously associate with receptors to form the bound complex, and then dissociate again to reform free drug and free receptor. At equilibrium, these opposing processes occur at equal rates. This equilibrium is described by the dissociation constant Kd, which is equal to the product of the concentrations of free drug and free receptor divided by the concentration of the drug receptor complex. Kd also has an important practical meaning. It is the drug concentration at which 50% of the receptors are occupied. Because of this, Kd provides a measure of affinity. A low Kd means tight binding and high affinity, whereas a high Kd means weak binding and low affinity. So Kd tells us how tightly a drug binds to its receptor. The next step is to use that information to predict how many receptors will actually be occupied at any given drug concentration. Once we know the Kd, we can predict receptor occupancy. Fractional receptor occupancy is defined as the concentration of receptors bound by drug divided by the total concentration of receptors present. However, we usually don't know how many receptors a cell expresses, so we need to express this relationship using parameters we can measure. We start with the definition of the dissociation constant and rearrange it to solve for the concentration of the bound drug-receptor complex DR. While the absolute number of receptors is unknown, we do know that the total receptor concentration is equal to the sum of free and bound receptors. Rearranging this relationship shows that the concentration of free receptors is equal to the total receptor concentration minus the concentration of bound receptors. Substituting this expression for free receptors into the equation for the bound complex gives the following. We then rearrange the equation and redistribute the drug concentration term. Multiplying both sides by Kd removes the fraction and simplifies the expression. Next, we collect all the dr terms on one side of the equation and factor them out. Dividing both sides by the total receptor concentration moves us closer to a fractional expression. Finally, dividing by the term Kd plus the drug concentration gives an equation that defines fractional receptor occupancy in terms of drug concentration and the dissociation constant. On the next slide, we'll plot fractional occupancy against drug concentration to see what this relationship predicts. On the horizontal axis is drug concentration. On the vertical axis is fractional receptor occupancy, the fraction of receptors that are bound by the drug. At very low concentrations, only a small number of drug molecules are available, so only a small fraction of receptors are occupied. As concentration increases, more receptors bind drug and occupancy rises steeply. But notice what happens as we keep increasing the concentration. The curve begins to bend and flatten. This is saturation. There are only a finite number of receptors, and once most of them are occupied, adding more drug has a diminishing effect. At the top of the curve, occupancy approaches 100%. Every receptor that can bind is already bound. The key point on this curve is the concentration that produces 50% occupancy. This occurs when the drug concentration equals Kd. At this point, half of the receptors are occupied and half are free. Kd is not just a number in an equation, it is a direct measure of affinity. A lower Kd shifts this curve to the left, meaning fewer drug molecules are needed to occupy receptors. A higher Kd shifts it to the right, meaning more drug is required. So, this simple hyperbolic curve captures the central idea of the receptor occupancy model. Drug concentration determines receptor binding determines response, and affinity sets the scale. As I said earlier, the central assumption of the receptor occupancy model is that effect is proportional to the fraction of receptors that are occupied. If effect tracks occupancy, then the total number of receptors, R total, sets the upper limit on response. That upper limit is the maximum effect, Emax. When we scale effect to that maximum, expressing it as E over Emax, the relationship takes the same mathematical form as fractional occupancy. That means this curve is doing double duty. It still describes how receptors become occupied as drug concentration increases, but it also describes how effect emerges. For that reason, this is what we call a dose response or effect curve. At low concentrations, small increases in drug produce large increases in effect. At higher concentrations, the curve flattens as receptors approach saturation and effect approaches its maximum. As before, there is a defining midpoint. The concentration that produces 50% of the maximum effect is the EC50. In this simple case, where effect is directly proportional to occupancy, EC50 closely reflects the affinity of the drug for the receptor and is closely related to KD. This is how a molecular binding model becomes a quantitative description of drug effect. So far, everything I have described rests on a small set of assumptions. First, we assume that all receptors are identical and independent, and that each occupied receptor contributes equally to the response. Second, we assume a simple one-to-one relationship between binding and effect. When a receptor is occupied, it produces a fixed amount of signal, and effect is directly proportional to occupancy. Third, we assume that the system has no amplification. The maximum effect requires that all receptors are fully occupied. There are no spare receptors, no signal cascades, and no downstream non-linearities. In real biological systems, these assumptions are rarely met. Many drugs produce maximal effect while occupying only a fraction of receptors, revealing the presence of spare receptors and signal amplification. Different agonists can bind the same receptor but produce very different levels of effect. According to the occupancy model, full receptor occupancy should produce the same maximal response regardless of the drug. Clearly, this is not what is observed. Drugs with the same affinity can have different maximum effects, revealing full and partial agonists. Efficacy is not the same as affinity. Receptors can also desensitize, internalize, or signal through multiple pathways, breaking the simple link between binding and response. So the receptor occupancy model is not a complete description of drug action. It is a starting point. Its value lies in showing us the simplest possible bridge between molecular binding and effect, and in making clear exactly which assumptions must be relaxed to explain real pharmacology. To explain partial agonism and the dissociation between occupancy and effect, we need models that separate receptor binding from receptor activation. In the next video, I'll introduce the two-state model, which extends the occupancy model to accommodate these violations of its assumptions.